Jerusalem, a city steeped in history, a place where the past and present intertwine, a place where kings once ruled with wisdom and might, and prophets walked its streets sharing divine messages. But now it lay in ruins, a shadow of its former glory. Its walls, once mighty and strong, were broken down, crumbling under the weight of time and conflict. The gates, once symbols of power and security, were burned with fire, leaving the city vulnerable and exposed. The people, God's chosen people, were scattered, living in the shadow of a fallen city, their spirits as broken as the walls around them. In the opulent palaces of Susa, far from his homeland, a man named Nehemiah served as cupbearer to the mighty King Artaxerxes, a position of great trust and honor. A position of great trust and honor, yet his heart was not at peace. But Nehemiah's heart was heavy, burdened with the plight of his people and the desolation of his homeland. He yearned for the restoration of his beloved Jerusalem, dreaming of a day when its walls would stand tall once more. The plight of his people, living as exiles in their own land, filled him with sorrow and a deep sense of responsibility. He knew that their hope, their future, lay in rebuilding not just the walls of their city, but also the walls of their faith, uniting them in a common purpose and vision for a brighter tomorrow. Nehemiah couldn't ignore the call in his heart. The weight of his people's suffering was too great to bear. He was burdened for his people, the remnants of a once great nation now in distress. He prayed to the God of his fathers, seeking guidance and strength. He confessed the sins of his people, their failures and shortcomings, acknowledging their need for divine intervention. And he pleaded for God's mercy, his favor, and his strength to rebuild the broken walls of Jerusalem. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Yet Nehemiah's resolve never wavered. Nehemiah carried his burden with him, a constant weight on his heart, a reminder of his people's plight. Finally, he saw an opportunity, a glimmer of hope in the midst of despair. King Artaxerxes, noticing the sadness in his face, inquired about the cause of his distress, opening a door for Nehemiah. With trembling hands and a heart full of faith, Nehemiah shared his burden with the king, revealing his deep longing to help his people. He spoke of his desire to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the city of his ancestors, a city lying in ruins. He asked for permission, for safe passage, and for the resources he would need to accomplish this daunting task, hoping for the king's favor. The king, moved by Nehemiah's heartfelt plea, granted his request. He provided him with letters of safe passage, supplies and soldiers to escort him on his journey. Nehemiah, his heart overflowing with gratitude and determination, set out for Jerusalem. He arrived at the ruined city under the cover of darkness. As he surveyed the broken walls and burned gates, his heart sank. The task ahead seemed insurmountable. But Nehemiah refused to be discouraged. He knew that God was with him. He shared his vision with the Jewish people, igniting a spark of hope in their weary hearts. They had almost forgotten the glory of their past, the promises of their God. But Nehemiah's passion, his unwavering faith, breathed new life into their spirits. Under Nehemiah's leadership, the people rallied together. They began the arduous task of rebuilding the walls. Priests, goldsmiths, merchants and perfumers all set aside their usual occupations and took up tools. They worked tirelessly, side by side, united in their purpose. Each family was assigned a section of the wall to rebuild. The sound of hammers striking stone echoed through the valley, a testament to their determination. Nehemiah's leadership was instrumental in their progress. He was not afraid to get his hands dirty, to work alongside the people he led. He encouraged the weary, challenged the complacent, and inspired them all with his unwavering faith. Section 5. facing opposition. The rebuilding effort did not go unnoticed. Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the Ammonite official, along with their allies, mocked and ridiculed the Jews. They saw the rebuilding of the walls as a threat to their own power and influence. They conspired to stop the work, spreading rumors, making threats, and even plotting to attack Jerusalem. But Nehemiah refused to be intimidated. He armed the workers, organized shifts for continuous work and prayer, and remained vigilant against their enemies. "The God of heaven will give us success," Nehemiah declared. "We, his servants, will start rebuilding, but as for you, you have no share in Jerusalem or any claim or historic right to it." Despite the opposition, the work continued. Day and night the people labored, their resolve strengthened by their faith and their shared purpose. Finally, after 52 days of relentless effort, the walls were completed. The enemies of the Jews were astonished. They had underestimated the power of a people united in their faith and determined to rebuild their lives. The once ruined city now stood tall, a testament to the power of perseverance and the faithfulness of God. The completion of the walls sent a clear message. Jerusalem was no longer a city easily overrun, it was a city reborn. Its people strengthened, their faith renewed. The nations around them took note, recognizing the hand of God in this remarkable feat. The rebuilding of the walls was only the beginning. Nehemiah also invited Ezra the priest to read the law of Moses to the people. As Ezra, standing on a wooden platform, read from the scrolls, the people listened intently. They wept as they heard the words of God, realizing how far they had strayed from his commands. But their sorrow soon turned to joy as they recommitted themselves to the covenant. They celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles, remembering God's faithfulness in the wilderness. This spiritual revival, this rededication to God, was as important as the rebuilding of the walls. It was a reminder that true strength, true security, comes not from physical barriers, but from a right relationship with God. The story of Nehemiah is a testament to the power of leadership, faith, and community. Nehemiah's unwavering commitment to his mission, his reliance on God, and his ability to inspire and unite his people serve as powerful examples for us today. We learn that even in the face of adversity, even when the task seems insurmountable, with God all things are possible. We are reminded that true leadership is not about wielding power, but about serving others, inspiring them to achieve what they never thought possible. The story of Nehemiah challenges us to examine our own lives. Are there walls in our lives that need rebuilding? Are there areas of brokenness that need God's healing touch? Are we willing to step out in faith to be agents of restoration and renewal in our own communities? The story of Nehemiah is not just an ancient tale. It's a narrative that transcends time, offering lessons that are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. It's a living message of hope and inspiration, a beacon that guides us through the challenges of our modern world. It reminds us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, faith, courage, and collective action can bring about extraordinary change. Nehemiah's story is a testament to the power of resilience and the human spirit. Nehemiah's legacy continues to resonate thousands of years later, echoing through the corridors of history and into our present day. It's a call to action for each of us to identify the broken walls in our own lives, families, communities, and world, and to rise up and rebuild them. This call is not just about physical structures, but also about mending relationships and healing societal rifts. It's a testament to the power of one person's vision an unwavering faith to inspire and mobilize an entire community toward a common goal. Nehemiah's determination shows us that one individual can indeed make a difference. Like Nehemiah, we are all called to be rebuilders. Each of us has a role to play in the restoration of our world. Let us embrace his spirit of dedication, his unwavering faith, and his passion for restoration. Let us channel his energy into our own efforts to make a positive impact. Let us work together to rebuild the broken walls in our world, to be beacons of hope and to bring about lasting change, one brick at a time. Together we can create a legacy that will inspire future generations.